She told me I was too nice for her. So I vanished from her life. When she finally wanted me back, I gave her silence. I never thought being too nice would be a deal breaker. My name's Jake. I'm 29, live just outside Denver, and work as a systems analyst. I've always been the dependable type, maybe a little quiet, but solid. I listen. I open doors. I remember birthdays. I show up. I thought those things mattered. And for a while, I thought they did. Especially with Rachel. We met through friends at a rooftop bar last summer. She was magnetic, confident, quick-witted, always the center of the group. I wasn't exactly her type, or so I thought. But something about the way I stayed quiet and actually listened must have stood out to her. She gave me her number. We started dating. For the first few months, everything was effortless. We'd go on long drives into the mountains, spend lazy Sundays making pancakes and binging true crime docs. I brought her coffee when she worked late, left little notes in her apartment before I left. She'd smile, hug me, say, "You're just so good to me, Jake." That "so good" became a double-edged sword. A few months in, something shifted. She stopped texting back as quickly, didn't want to plan things as much. Conversations got shorter, more distracted. One night, while we were out to dinner, her scrolling through her phone the whole time, I asked if something was wrong. She looked up, sighed, and said it like it was a compliment. "Jake, you're just too nice. That's all." I laughed. I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. "You're great. Seriously. You do everything right. But sometimes I feel like I need, I don't know, more edge, more challenge." I sat there stunned. I'd heard guys joke about this stuff. How women say they want a nice guy, then go for someone who treats them like dirt. But I didn't think I'd actually hear it. From someone who once told me I was the best thing to happen to her. That night stuck with me. Not just because of what she said, but because I started to doubt myself. Was kindness weakness? Was being respectful boring? Over the next couple weeks, I tried to shrug it off. Maybe she was just stressed. People say dumb things sometimes. But the distance only grew. And worse. She seemed more energized when she talked about her coworker, Travis. Loud, cocky gym bro. The type who probably wouldn't remember your dog's name after the first date. The kind of guy who sends you up, texts at 2 a.m., and still gets away with it. I wasn't jealous. Not exactly. Just confused. And tired of feeling like I had to apologize for being a good boyfriend. So, I made a decision. If nice meant disposable, maybe it was time I stopped being so damn easy. I wouldn't be mean. That's not me. But I'd stop putting her needs above mine. Stop trying to be the perfect guy. No more surprise coffees. No more bending over backward to keep her happy while I kept wondering what I did wrong. I wanted to see what would happen if I became a little more selfish. Not out of spite. Out of curiosity. And a bit of hurt pride. I started focusing more on myself. Hit the gym harder. Took up boxing. Said no when I didn't feel like going out. Didn't chase. If she messaged, cool. If not, I lived my life. The change was subtle at first. But she noticed. "You've been different lately," she texted one night. "Yeah," I replied. Just focusing on myself more. No emojis. No explanation. She took 4 hours to reply. "Okay, I see you." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but it wouldn't take long to find out. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Jake was right to stop being so accommodating? Have you ever been told you're too nice? What did you do? Things didn't explode. There wasn't some dramatic breakup or teary confrontation. It was quieter than that, which made it feel more real. After I pulled back, Rachel didn't chase me. Not at first. She was still around, still sent memes here and there, still liked my Instagram stories. But there was this weird shift in energy. Like she could sense that I wasn't orbiting her anymore. And I wasn't. I was finally in my own gravity. I started saying no when she'd text last minute to hang out, especially if I already had plans. I stopped rearranging my schedule just to be available. If she flaked on dinner, I didn't follow up. I just went out with my friends or stayed home and read. It wasn't coldness, it was just boundaries. For once, I was choosing myself. Funny enough, the more I pulled back, the more interested she seemed to get. A few weeks in, I got a call from her, out of the blue, on a Wednesday night. "Hey, what are you up to?" I was brushing my dog, sitting on the couch in sweats. Nothing fancy, but I paused for a second before answering. "Just relaxing. Long day." "What?" "No reason. Just haven't seen you much lately." "Yeah, been busy." Silence. "Busy with anyone in particular?" There it was. That little hint of jealousy she never used to show. It almost made me laugh, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I could feel how the power dynamic had shifted. Not in a toxic way, just leveled out. We ended up talking for an hour that night. She asked about the gym, about work, even about boxing. Said she liked the new confidence I was showing. Said it was hot. I thanked her, then wrapped up the call myself when I felt the convo start to drag. That's the thing. Before, I would have let her talk for hours, just to feel close to her. But now, I respected my own time. And weirdly, that made her respect it too. A week later, she asked me out. Said she wanted to cook dinner at her place. I almost didn't go, but curiosity won. It felt like a different version of our old relationship. She wore something simple, but nice. Candles lit. Pasta on the stove. She poured me wine like we were on a first date. At one point she sat across from me and just looked for a long second. You've changed. Yeah, I said. Had to. I like it, she whispered. And then, almost like a confession, I didn't mean to say you were too nice. I didn't know how to handle someone actually treating me right. I guess I was scared. That hit me harder than I expected. Because it wasn't just about me being too nice. It was about her not believing she deserved it. And maybe, deep down, I was dating someone who couldn't fully receive love unless it came wrapped in chaos. We slept together that night. Not gonna lie, it was passionate. Intense. Like all the tension had finally snapped. But the next morning, I didn't feel what I thought I would. There was no high. No spark of we're back. Just clarity. I didn't want to go back to the guy who constantly overextended himself to keep someone interested. And honestly, I wasn't sure I wanted her anymore either. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I thanked her for dinner, kissed her cheek, and left before she could start planning the weekend. The morning after that night at Rachel's place felt strange. Not bad. Not dramatic. Just off. I'd expected to feel something. Maybe a rush of validation or a return of those old feelings. Instead, I sat in my car outside her apartment, watching the sun rise over downtown Denver, and felt nothing. Well, not nothing. I felt free. That entire drive home, I couldn't shake the feeling that the chapter had already ended. What happened between us wasn't reconciliation, it was closure. Or maybe her last attempt to reel me back and before realizing I wasn't the same guy she met last summer. I wasn't bitter. I didn't hate her. But I was done pretending that being good to someone should ever feel like a flaw. A few days later, she texted, "Want to come over this weekend?" I was thinking we could try that type place and maybe just hang out like old times. Old times. I stared at the message for a while. And in a different version of myself, the nice version, I would have jumped. Rearranged my weekend. Picked her up, paid, smiled through any awkwardness. But not this time. I called her instead. Voice to voice. I owed her that much. "Hey," I said calmly. "I don't think this is a good idea." "What do you mean?" "I think we're just in different places. You're not a bad person, Rachel. But I spent too long trying to be what you needed, instead of being what I needed." There was silence on the other end. "So that's it." "I think so. And not out of spite. I just finally get it now. I don't want to prove my worth to someone who couldn't see it until I stopped giving it." "Jake, I'm sorry. I mean that. I know. And I did know." She was sorry. But that didn't mean we fit. She cried a little. I stayed on the phone until she was done. Not because I wanted to make her feel better, but because I wanted to leave her with respect. The kind of respect I gave from day one, even when she didn't know what to do with it. When I hung up, it felt like exhaling after holding my breath for months. It's been 6 months since then. I've been dating again. Nothing serious, but with women who actually match my energy. Who see kindness not as weakness, but as maturity. I've kept the boundaries I learned during that time. I still open doors. Still listen. Still do thoughtful things. But now for people who appreciate them, not just tolerate them. And honestly, I feel lighter. Stronger. Like I finally stopped waiting for permission to be who I am. Here's the thing. Being too nice was never the problem. The problem was giving to someone who wasn't ready to receive it, or thought they had to sabotage it to feel worthy. Rachel wasn't cruel. She was just lost in her own way. And I can't blame her for that. We all are sometimes. But I'm done shrinking myself to be digestible. I'd rather be alone and respected than loved conditionally. So now I want to ask you honestly. Have you ever held back who you were just to keep someone interested? Have you ever been told you're too much of something good and believed it? Would love to hear your take. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.